Okay, part 5, everybody. Boom. As they're just trying to find it. And let's speed this up. More tanks coming in. I am not aware they saw this thing. But here comes a book. I'm just deploying more stuff. They're sending in more units. Let's slow this down. This helicopter's going in. Using those helicopters like that to try and scout really doesn't work for them in the end. But it does allow them to see where that thing was. Oh, that's right. Oh, we missed it, but I destroyed some of their command units over here with a couple of those recce's. He really wants this thing dead. He's screaming at his partners to just kill it. Up, and it's about to come in. Here it is. Mind you, I've got another spare. Missiles off. Boom! Up, it got away. And I send in the BRM-1Ks. They're screaming again! You have more of the goddamn things! They got that moving in now. They're just draining their supplies, which I find very helpful. He wants them to send that in there and try to find the other one again. They think it's over here, somewhere heading back there, but no, it's not. He's smart when he does mark it back here, because that's where I've been putting him. Guy's out of machine gun ammunition. Oh, my T-64 is out of ammunition. Some rockets are left. Oh, because it's from that. Boof. Freaking running out of ammo. Running out of fuel. That guy's out of fuel. These guys don't even take part. Didn't even know they were over there. These T-62s are going around. T-64s are moving up because they just want those things dead. This is still over here, protecting against that. Some Abrams with some rounds left, as it turns out, to attract attention. Boom, boom. Boom. I recapture the fob. And let's speed things up some more. Moving things around. That's dead. Now, do they see this again? Nope, they think it's there, but it's not. They do see this one. They did not see that one. They want him to attack from that direction. Oh, look, there's a buck there. Oh, he's just going straight over, is he? The Freedom Fighter. The Abrams that were there are dead because they're out of fuel and didn't have any way of resisting. I'm just blowing up cargo trucks. Where's that aircraft? Did it make it? They see this one. But now there's not as many units on the map anymore. Ah, and this begins. Because I had... At this point, this was all I had left to call onto the map. Now, I happened to glance and catch this thing. So I run this thing over there, and... kill it. Wow, look at all those. So I start to deploy a bunch of these things. So now basically they tried to go around. I'm doing it. They tried to come this way. Now I'm going that way. And if you look, no anti-aircraft left to stop me anywhere but here. And that's out of ammunition. So they have a single 2 anti-aircraft units to use to stop me. And they're both in the wrong position. They think it's down there. They got one there. He just keeps yelling at him to attack it. They're driving these around. This guy's going around. I'll find those 2 with that. Attack those! Little do you know. Dun da 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 da. Air assault done correctly. Whee! Just a massive number. That was a cool shot. I like that shot. Oh, because he's under attack, I redirect him, that's right. So those guys get to live another day! And now these guys are just going around destroying those units. Land these guys there. Boom! This guy's going over here, destroys those, and this just goes way downhill very suddenly for him. Now, these aircraft are a giant threat. So one of the first things I plan on doing, finding that command vehicle and destroying it, as I just go around destroying everything I can. Dropping off troops and everything else. Oof! I do end up catching a glimpse of it, and turn. Come on. These guys are landing and dropping off. Now to them, I might as well just be everywhere on the field. You can't use those missiles. Oh, you don't have any left. They'll be retreating soon due to lack of fuel. I just keep landing them because it messes with the targeting aircraft. This goes out there, this goes out there. Found it. Firing. So they move it. Trying to run away. I don't know if they... Well, they're going to know now. Nope, they don't see my special ops roaming around. See? Deploying more. I had over 20 of those things at this point. Because when my allies left, whatever troops I had left, I got more of them. It increases by like 25 to 50% depending on the number of players on your team each time one leaves. So if you have 50 tanks and one of your allies leave, you now have 75. If both of them leave, you now have 100. Roughly. And it just did not go well because I had a heck of a lot of things left. And now they don't have... They can't do anything. They're paralyzed air-wise because they don't have an air conduit. Ah, that thing. I was shooting at that. Found that. Destroyed it. And now I have to find command vehicles that are hiding. There's one right there. And this will be over shortly. Attack. attack. Kind of a waste having them do that, but here's a bunch more. Whee! Going through each other, clipping error! One over there, one there. Trying to get him to move it there. With Khan doing it. They got one hiding there. And I'm deploying more command vehicles myself, because that's all I've got left to deploy. So now I just go looking. Now, I do see this one, so I cut these guys off and move them in that direction. This guy's going to continue to explore, then I end up seeing this one and have nothing that I can do about it. Abrams. These don't use up all their ammunition, thankfully. Boof, 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 boof. Bang. And speed this up. They head over there. That's just gonna die. And so that leaves one command vehicle on the map, and it's Khan's. And they've got this that's gonna travel around with it for a while, because they realize what it is that's killing these things. Oh, Khan's got it. And now I'm just searching. Helicopters in a search pattern. Oh, they found one there. And now it's just search pattern time. Looking, 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 looking. He moves it around a little bit. Oh, they really didn't have any infantry there left. I thought this was like a giant infantry stronghold. I'm deploying more BMP-1s. I guess it's K for command. I've got my recce units walking around looking. I had no clue it was this close. This is right there. That guy left with a lot of complaining. And now I just send my T-72s out. And my tanks start advancing and doing what they do best. Attacking! Oh yes, those things did play a role. Not much of one. Boof. Need to destroy that thing. I was real close to killing that unit. But the counterattack with the armor that can still move begins. That thing can actually kill my tanks. And it's doing it too. And then it stopped. I pretty quickly realized that this didn't have any ammunition. I thought it did, so I targeted it first, but then it's like, oh, no it doesn't. And I got real close, so he starts moving that around. And now it just becomes a game of whack-a-mole. He pops up there, I tell my tanks to fast move there. As you can see, suddenly everything that can move is moving, including that thing. And the counterattack begins. He shows up there. My guys move again. He runs away. He goes there. Oops. He stops. It marks it. Milan's out of ammunition. This guy's attacking the Milan battery. Nearly kills this unit. Which is pretty impressive for the Milan battery. And then they run out of ammo. Brings it down to 6. Nearly kills one of them. This guy's going around. I know it's here, just don't know where. That's firing off some of the last of its ammunition. I think there's a big bunch of infantry here. I'm not aware it's only one guy with 3 men. Start shooting at that. Unload the troops here. And we're going to begin moving in on the town. We've pretty much narrowed it down to be. And in they go. Epic battle. Went on for 2.5 hours according to game time. Actually a little bit longer than that. Great bunch of people here. 150 minutes, 43 seconds. A fricking absolute grudge match. In the end, they got more kills than we did, but it was a victory for us because it was destruction. We got them on destruction. Pretty sure they won't be playing destruction games again anytime soon. Yeah, it's not showing everything. But mixed decks. The topic of mixed decks. Don't use them. Because you don't get as many troops. You can only bring in 4 Leopard 2A4s. That's it. You can only bring in 8 M1A1 Abrams. That's it. You don't have access to prototype units either. And it's not... It's better to go with a single country set way of doing it with, like, say, American Armored, German Armored, or something like that, because then you get more of the good units. This way, with mixed decks, and you don't specialize, you get, well, not good. I have a specialized Category C armored deck with 276 tanks. I recreated one of their multi-country decks from what I could see on the map, and it had about 190 units. I have more tanks than they have units in their deck. That's... In the long run, if you can beat me quickly, you have to beat me quickly, because that's the only way you'll win. If I'm playing one of these guys 1v1, I have twice as much army as they do. I just have to just put them into a meat grinder, and I win. So mixed decks are very, very bad. Particularly for playing against someone who made a deck for attrition and knows how to use it. And how to negate the advantage of the Leopards and the Abrams. Which isn't all that hard. Yeah, the big attack on the right was probably kind of stupid. But it achieved its objective too. I just wanted that attack on the right to destroy as many high-powered tanks as it did. And it got almost all the challenges they had left. They didn't have all that many left after that. And just every death on their part was massive in comparison to every death I suffered. Because I've got 476 units. I've got like 190. I lose 100 units, that's a quarter of my fighting strength. They lose 100 units, that's more than half their army. The comparison there is just... Obviously, though, my army cost more. Or our armies cost more. Because these guys didn't have specialized decks, and they also didn't do as well. They burned out real quick. If it wasn't for these two leaving and giving me their points, I probably wouldn't have won. And I simply, another thing I do is as long as I can still continue to resist in some way, shape, or form, I don't surrender in this game. And they never struck the hammer blow required to put me into a point where I could not, in any way, shape, or form, keep resisting their attacks. And that was also another thing that worked against them, because I could fight continuously. There was very few points where I did not have something to fight with and could not resist in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I don't think there were any. No matter what happened, even after the big attack, they counterattacked. They lost everything in their counterattack. Even then, we didn't commit everything to such an extent that it left us crippled. And so, moral here is don't use mixed decks. They work against you. You wind up with fewer troops. They might be better quality. Yeah, they had plenty of quality, but when the opponent is just that much bigger than you and has that much more to call on, unless you can inflict massive, massive, massive casualties the entire time and be able to get them into situations where it's your advantage, not theirs, it really has to work well for you when their army's twice your size. Not that it isn't possible. In history, people have just defeated absolutely unsurmountable odds. Like, even in Thermopylae they lost, but that was 300 Spartans with 3,000 Thebians, which is something they tend to leave out. And there were a couple of other city-states involved that held back the Persian armies several times their size. But that was under the best of circumstances. And these guys did not have the best of circumstances. Darn good game. This guy chatted for a while. In the course of that day, they had played 10 games, apparently. Every single one of them was a total destruction game, and they had won within a half hour. Actually, within 20 minutes, according to him. And from their stats, I was looking at him, I'd say he's about right. Because that was all the games he had played. That was all the games that this guy had stats for, because you look in their stats. But yeah, this is a fun game. Good playing on everybody's side. Don't use mixed decks. Pick a nation, pick a specialty, and go with it. If you're working on a team like this, because these three are obviously in a clan of some sort, if you're going to do that, have like one guy armor, one guy infantry, one guy support. And then you get the maximum benefits from each side, from each system, instead of mixing and matching. I don't do that because I'm not in a clan or anything. I'm not interested in joining one. But they did good. They pushed us all the way back. They just happened to run into a situation where I was better. I do like to think that these guys had won 10 games that day, and then me, I had never played with these two people before, just kind of show up and wreck their day. That was good. Have fun, everybody. I enjoyed this battle, and that's why it's recorded in 5 parts. It was just epically long. Now, I'm actually going to go do something that does not involve a computer for today. Have fun. Okay, quick addendum to the end of the previous video. This is the deck that I'm using, that I used in that battle. Cat C USSR 1975. Probably shouldn't be showing people my deck, but whatever, I can always just change this. 260 tanks, 21 recon, bunch of planes, bunch of support, not really enough anti-aircraft, I'll give it that. This is lacking anti-aircraft. Lots of infantry, lots of logistics, trucks, and 2 FOBs. I could have really used 2 FOBs on the map, good lord. Now the thing is, as I mentioned, every time someone leaves, you get more troops in a percentage basis, like depending on how many players you've had. In a 3v3, normally I have 158 tanks. Well, normally I have 58 T-72s. In a 3v3, if my 2 allies quit, I have 104 T-72s. I have 104 T-64As. That's what happens. So when my allies quit in that previous game, I got more units, and it almost doubled the number of units I still had available. The only thing with that is that unit still has to be available for that to happen. Like, I had used up all my Motor Strikey and Conkers. So when they quit, I did not get any more Motor Strikey, and I did not get any more Conkers. I did not get any more of these. I did not get any more of the T-55, the T-55s. I got more T-55As because I hadn't deployed them all. I did not get any more supply trucks. I mean, obviously, you're not going to get any more FOBs. I didn't get any more MI2s. I certainly did not get any more of these, because you have to still have them available for that to happen. But it does happen. If you want to experiment with it, go in there, do a test, and have your allies quit. Once the game starts, I'm not sure if it does in deployment phase, even though I'm pretty sure it does. The game designers did that, I believe, because I've seen it firsthand, that happened when my allies quit. I saw the numbers go up. They did that to counterbalance unbalanced teams. That did not happen in Wii. So if someone was doing a 1v2 or 2v1, the other guy was outnumbered, period. They did this to kind of prevent that from happening, and it's very handy. But this army has a total of, if I check my calculator from adding everything up, which is already closed, nope, right here, 476 units, counting everything in this deck. Go back, the test deck, edit. This is something I constructed kind of based on what I saw from their army on the map. You get 8 Abrams, 4 Leopard 2A4s, and 16 Challengers with 8 Leopard 1A4s. Even though I should have stuck the Canadian ones on there because they had the Canadian tanks. They had these. What about the Canadians, eh? No, they didn't have the Canadians. They're not 65 points. Oh well. I'm pretty sure they had a Canadian something. Oh yeah, the Recce. But yeah, as you see, 270 tanks to 36. They had more well, not really more infantry even. And when I'm looking at it, when they're looking at a ratio, if I bring in 2 to reinforce, they attack with 5, all 5 die, then this ratio starts to break down real quick. They had more anti-aircraft, which is good on very good. They had some of these, those didn't last very long, and then the helicopters. They had more variety too. This is just one I kind of reconstituted from things I saw on the map, just to get an idea of how large their deck could be with this setting. And that came out to 191 units roughly. So, there we go. 191 times 3. That gives them 575 units. I have my deck alone, without my numbers increasing from my allies quitting, is only 100 units shorter than their decks, 3 decks combined, which is kind of hilarious. But yeah, specialized decks. Because if you get into Slugfest and you don't have a specialized deck with lots of stuff, you're just done. And I'm going to have a field day. But yeah, that was fun. Thanks everybody for the good game. And these guys made a good one. Good night.